people, welcome back to another interesting video. Anything from Thomas Sowell, you need to get a pen and a paper. He's so intelligent, he's full of wisdom, and I love to listen to him a lot, right? His videos are mainly historical, a lot of eye-opening and insightful things that you never thought existed. Today's video is from Thomas Sowell Reacts, titled "Why Whites Are Rich and Black Poor." Thomas Sowell reddish button of wealth. I'm super excited to be watching this with you guys. I can't wait to dive into it. I'll be dropping my thought during the course of this video and after this video, so it's important you watch me to the end, okay? My name is Ogechi. Welcome to my channel. If it's your first time here, hello, hi. Do well to like, share, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell. Yeah, and let's get straight into the video.
Wealth, Poverty, and Politics, quote,
common knowledge.
The difference between seeing economic disparities as due to differences in the production of wealth and seeing those disparities as due to the transfer of wealth from some people to other people is fundamental.
Is fundamental.
Explain that.
Well, I think there are a lot of people who regard so-called disparities and inequities in income as something that requires some great explanation, seem to assume that in the absence of some intervention, everyone would have something roughly equal income. Virtually everything that goes into the production of income varies enormously between groups, between nations, between people on the flatlands and the people in the mountains. You name it, it varies.
It varies. And I take it, correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I was reading this, I take it as one of the principal efforts of this book to correct the thinking of Americans who have grown up, most of us, in conditions that, by the standards of human history and by the standards of many other places on the globe today, would be conditions of almost staggering wealth.
Yes.
Even poor people in this country have smartphones, televisions, cars, and so forth. And we tend to assume, it may be human nature, we tend to assume that our conditions are normal and conditions that differ from ours are the anomaly. And, and this book says, no, 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 no.
Well, good heavens, and especially if you look back through time, really it's only within the last 5 or 10% of the existence of human beings that there's been agriculture. I mean, think what that means, that people had to feed themselves, hunting and gathering, fishing, herding animals. And of course that meant that you couldn't have cities, because for all those other ways of living, you need an enormous amount of land per person. If you were to one Manhattan would probably be enough, to spread famine throughout the world. So that I start with geography, because that's the most implacable obstacle. And geography is anywhere close to being normal. For example, just geographic phenomena. In the great majority of all the tornadoes in the entire world occur in the middle of the United States. You don't hear about tornadoes in London or Paris or Beijing. And you don't hear about them in New York or San Francisco, for that matter. That just in one little place in the world, all the conditions are there for a tornado alley. And it's true with so many other things. Nothing is evenly spread out. There are rivers on every continent, but the rivers aren't the same.
Let me add, I was especially struck, let me give you this. Here's a quotation from the book. Western Europe's rivers often lead out into open seas, providing access to seaports around the world. But most rivers in Eastern and Southern Europe are quite different.
Yes.
What's the difference, and what bearing has that had on economic development?
Well, the rivers in Eastern Europe tend to flow into lakes and inland seas. And so when you get to the end of the Danube or the Don, you are not out in the open ocean.
The Black Sea or the Caspian.
That's right. And then if you want to get to the Atlantic, you have to go the entire length of the Mediterranean to get out there. The rivers in Russia, most of those empty into the Arctic Ocean, which is not quite as convenient as the Atlantic or the Pacific. And what that means is that you can't have the commerce, you can't have industry and whatnot to the same extent that you have. More importantly, you are not connected with the rest of the human race to the same extent. And one of the major findings throughout the book is that isolation almost invariably means poverty and backwardness.
In the mountains,
Yes.
if you live in Eastern Europe or Russia and you're cut off from the rest of the world, isolation leads, in fact, well, we'll get to this in a moment, but it seems even to have an effect on cognitive ability, prolonged isolation.
Oh, sure. Well, certainly in terms of not just sheer knowledge, you don't have the same knowledge, but more than that, you're not aware of how the basic things of life are done differently in other parts of the world. And so people who are isolated will keep doing things for centuries or thousands of years. So, for example, when the British landed in Australia, they find the Australian Aborigines.
I think I totally agree with what he said. Isolation leads to you doing the same thing over and over again. You're not open to technology, you're not open to new things. It leads to backwardness, it actually leads to poverty. You are doing like the same thing over and over and over again. I also love one of the things he said. He mentioned that, nothing is evenly distributed. Like, you get to hear tornadoes in some part of the United States of America, but you never hear of tornadoes in the UK, for example. Right? So nothing is evenly distributed. There are rivers everywhere, but all the rivers are not the same. So nothing is even riches, even wealth, nothing has ever been evenly distributed, which is actually a good point, right? Let's continue.
Aborigines are living really at a Stone Age level. Similarly, when people from Europe came to the Canary Islands, the same thing. They had no idea of iron. In Australia, they had no idea of iron. It's one of the great sources of iron ore in the world.
Staying with geography for a moment, again, one of the themes that seems to me to run through the book is this question of your resistance to notions of, to attempting to impose notions of morality on economic conditions. So, for example, with geography, some people happen to be born in Western Europe where the rivers lead to the sea, and some people happen to be born in Russia where some rivers lead to the frozen Arctic and some rivers lead to the Black Sea. And it's nobody's fault.
Yes.
It's luck.
Yes.
Or sheer happenstance. Nobody's robbing anybody else.
Yeah.
Yes, as one economic historian said, the world has never been a level playing field.
From a review of wealth, poverty, and politics in the Washington Post. Now, I don't want you to swing at me, all right? Sowell does manage to score a clean hit on those who now complain that income inequality is too high by noting their refusal to say what level of inequality they would consider acceptable. Fair enough.
Accepted.
What we also learn in this book, however, is that there is apparently no level of inequality of income or opportunity that Thomas Sowell would consider unacceptable, close quote. And you reply?
Well, it's hard to know where to begin when someone misses the whole point of the whole book. Of course, the big confusion among the redistributionists is between opportunity and outcomes. And one of the examples I used in a recent column was that, when I was a kid, I briefly tried to play basketball. And I was lucky to hit the backboard, never mind the basket, But I had just as much opportunity to play basketball as Michael Jordan had. You cannot measure opportunity by outcomes. And that's what the redistributionists insist on doing. They say this group obviously didn't have equal opportunity because they were turned down for loans more so than that group. Yes, if you have lower credit scores, you'll be turned down for loans more so than people with high credit scores.
The American economist Henry Hazlitt puts...
He has a point. There is something called opportunity and there is something called outcome. He mentioned that when he was younger, he had a chance to actually play basketball, or he did play basketball a little bit. But now he cannot compete with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan played basketball. He He honed his skill in basketball, but he did not. Now, when there's an opportunity for both of them to come out, who is going to get, that opportunity? Michael Jordan, of course. So I love that analogy of opportunity and an outcome.
It puts it this way: the real problem of poverty is not a problem of distribution, but of production. The poor are poor not because something has been withheld from them, but because, for whatever reason, they are not producing enough. The popular board game Monopoly, which depicts an ideal scenario where at the beginning of an economy there is distribution of wealth and everyone gets an equal share of that wealth, also reflects the fact that by the end of the economy, not everyone has the same amount of wealth they had at the beginning. And that difference is mainly reflected by the choices they made, the actions they took, and most importantly, a ton of chance. And that is a fundamental fact that the anointed deliberately give a blind eye to today. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Hit that bell so you don't miss our next video. Thank you for watching, and until the next video, stay free.
Very good point. Very good point. I feel like there's an opportunity for everybody to excel in whatever they are doing. What's important is that you are honing your skill. You are doing it, because I feel like this is 2024. Everybody has an equal chance and opportunity, right? Everybody is now on the rich will be rich, the poor will be poor. Now, what makes a difference from the poor is that when there's an opportunity given to you, how well do you use it? You're honing your skill, you're upskilling every second, like every opportunity you get. You want to be this, you want to be that. You're not just sitting down and just and again, one thing he rightfully said was nothing is evenly distributed. Some people will obviously be richer than another people, and like I mentioned earlier, this 2024, everybody has an equal chance. Black people these days are doing so well. Oh my gosh. Anyway, please drop your comments in the comment section of what you think about this particular video. Do you think that there is a reason why the whites are richer than the poor? Do you think that no reason, particularly these are the reasons? Let's know your reasons in the comment section below. Anyway, I stay in Nigeria and these things are about to happen. Okay, let's know your comments in the comment section below, and I'll be there, trying to reply. And so many, let's continue the conversation in the comment section below. I'll see you in my next episode. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe, drop a comment on what you think about this video, and turn on post notification bell. I'll see you in my next episode. Bye.